When I think of my family home, the first thing that comes to mind are the glittering lake and the gently sloping hills. After walking through the bustling streets over the hills and along the lakeside, my house and its bright red roof soon came into view. I would chat with my mom and dad as we passed through the front gate together, and the big lemon tree in the yard would always greet us. For someone like me who lacked courage, maybe all I needed was an excuse, no matter how small. The letter from my aunt was enough. Dear Adora, long time no see. How have you been? Are you doing all the things you've always wanted to do? It's been a while since I've heard from you. Come to think of it, the last time we saw each other was at Lily's funeral. I'm sorry to trouble you after all this time, but I can't find the necklace your mother gave me. I'm fairly certain I left it at your house after one of my visits. I really thought I had lost it for good. You know? I know it's a bit of a hassle, but could you send it to me? It should be in the attic. That's where Lily and I spent most of our time together when I was over. Thank you. Love, your aunt. It's been a long time since I last came back. I should tidy up the place. The key, here it is. It's rusted all over. I'll have to clean it before I can use it. Well, let's break out that WD-40, girl. See, this is like the cozy object cleaning game I've been looking for. I know, like, there's the other one, like, unpacking the organization game. That just doesn't itch that kind of scratch. And if you want to play this yourself, it's $10 on Steam. There we go. When was the last time this place was cleaned? There's so much dust that I can barely breathe. I need to go to the attic and find that necklace. Huh? Why is it locked? Now that I think of it, I've hardly ever been into the attic. Mom was always the one in charge of it. Oh well, I need to clean the rest of the house anyway. The attic key should eventually turn up. Where should I even start? After being neglected for so long, the house was so heavily laden with dust that I needed a mask to breathe normally. I opened a window and started clearing out some of the dust. When it was cleaning day, I used to be in charge of the floors. Mom took care of the furniture and Dad handled the windows and any tall places that were out of reach. If I closed my eyes, I could almost hear it again. The sound of Mom wiping down the furniture, Dad's humming. While cleaning the living room, I found a dust-covered photo frame on a shelf. Housed inside was our first family photo. When we went to take our first family photo, Dad made a peculiar suggestion. While it wasn't unusual for him to say or do something quirky, none of us saw it coming. It's the aggro crab hat. Why don't we all wear animal costumes? It'll be Adora's first ever family photo, so let's make it special. A special and unforgettable experience. He pleaded like a giddy child, arms firmly wrapped around a large costume. Mom let out a deep sigh. Here we go again. She has her dad's hair and her mother's eyes. I'm gonna assume that the parents are dead. There we go. A special photo. Honey, don't you think there's a reason why people take more traditional photos? Because they couldn't come up with anything creative? Y'all remember that photo of that family that they all wore like a jeans suits or something? Are you serious? Can't we just take a normal picture?
No.
But Adora, look at this. What a cute cat. Oh, so you're only trying to talk Adora into your plan now. Our very first family photo together. A seemingly ordinary picture with an amusing story behind it. I'm starting to see some other values.
They were hella fashionable.
The dad likes to be more creative while the mom likes to be more traditional. The unstoppable force meets the immovable object. While Mom was taking the photo, talking to the photographer, I snuck over to Dad and whispered, "Let's wear costumes next time." He only responded with a slight nod. When I look at the photo afterwards, I saw he had given me bunny ears. Mom noticed shortly after and gave Dad a light rap on the head. But the sheer dad-like triumph on his face sent us all into a fit of laughter. Oh. When I was young, my mom told me it was dangerous to go into the kitchen or attic alone. But the more someone told me not to do something, the more I wanted to do it. Oh boy.
I have a bad feeling about this.
One day when mom and dad were out, I excitedly went into the kitchen to examine the cupboard that was just barely within reach. My heart was pounding as I opened the cupboard. There were many beautiful porcelain teacups, and I took out one I thought was the prettiest. Suddenly, the front door opened with a creak. Mom wouldn't be upset, right? Her face was so pale and stern. I had never seen her look like that before. Here we go, we're making big progress. What's the symbol? It must have some kind of meaning. You know, I've been playing some Power Watch Simulator 2, and I've really been enjoying myself. Why is it always you never see anyone doing like those Reddit stories with the Power Watch Simulator game up there? I don't know. You could be doing that and giving the game free advertising instead of like stealing everybody's visual ASMR videos I see people doing. Don't do that. Okay, and then the toothbrush is like for cleaning up finer bits of dirt. I mostly just go for something simple, or I like to, if I'm in a place I have never been, I like to order like the house special. Really see what kind of flavors that they take pride in making. There we go. A fitting appearance. Mom, I'm sorry. Adora, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere? Mom, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. And I even broke one of the teacups. It's okay, Adora. Everything's okay, as long as you aren't hurt. A porcelain teacup that is barely intact, one of Mom's most treasured possessions. After giving me a big hug, she started to carefully gather the shards of porcelain silence. I still couldn't forget how she looked at the broken teacup. The next day, I secretly retrieved the shards from the trash and clumsily glued everything back together. Then I returned the fragile teacup to its place in the cupboard, hoping that Mom would feel better after seeing it. When Mom discovered the teacup later, she murmured, "This is a much more fitting appearance." I didn't understand why, but her smile looked bitter, like glows in the dark. Mom loved writing with fountain pens because she's old-fashioned like that. No matter how long the letter or document, whenever I asked if it was tiring to write so much by hand, she would always say, "It's difficult, but it's worth it." Mom had a routine before writing. First, she would sit at her desk with perfect prop. She's a traditionalist and a perfectionist. That's why she was secretly mad about the teacup breaking, but she didn't want to let her know that. Finally, she'd select one ink bottle from her collection and gracefully dip the nib of her exquisite fountain pen. I loved watching this process, so I used to quietly sit beside her whenever she took up her pen. Watching her fill empty sheets of paper with her handwriting imparted a special feeling I couldn't experience anywhere else. She had so many inkwells, sometimes I'd spend half a day just looking at them all. I don't think she used this one very often. Give into the chaos. Clean viciously. Show that grime who's boss. Oh, there you can see the ink moving inside. Wow. This is a pretty solid bottle. This stuff should have like dried up by now. It's like that one TikTok of this person finding an ancient bottle of Dr. Pepper. Yeah, that stuff's safe to drink. Ooh. Only in the darkest nights can you discover the star hidden within, Louise. That's a quote from Mom's favorite writer. Why is it written on here? Because it's a limited edition ink. Dad and I were still university students, so it took him a lot of hard work to buy it. But it looks new. Is it because you don't want to waste it? Adora, let me show you something. If you write with this ink and then turn off the lights, can you see the words glowing? The darker the room is, the brighter the ink shines. Oh wow. To Adora, Lily and Ash's beloved daughter, you need to eat a variety of food to grow big and strong. But I hate carrots. If you become brave enough to finish your carrots, I'll give you a fountain pen as a present. For some reason, after that day, I never saw her use a fountain pen again. Uh-oh. Ooh, a little turtle. Dad absolutely loved music. Whenever he could, he'd be humming or playing various instruments. He told me that he used to be in a children's choir and that he had joined a band during his university days. Whenever he returned home from work, he'd sing a little song he composed titled Dad Loves Coming Home. The first line always made me laugh. What was it again? You can't hold me back, I'm free. No one can ever stop me. Was that it? Now this is the level of interactivity that I crave. There's even grime in the cracks. Dang, this thing was really dirty. Where was this? In the attic, of course. She just said that was what she was doing. Okay, fine. Oh. It was right there. Adore, I'm done. After my hit single, Dad Loves Coming Home, my newest release is Dad Loves the Weekend. Yeah, you sure you're not a kid too? You got me since my secret's out. How about a song? Where'd I put my ocarina? Dad, if you love music so much, why do you become an accountant? Music and accounting are completely different.
Dreams don't pay the bills.
That's a good question, Adora. You see, I love music, but it doesn't mean I can't live without it. On the other hand, I get itchy if I don't work with numbers for even a single day. To achieve happiness, it is not about doing what you want, it's about doing what you can't live without. He then declared the next song would be named Dad is Super Duper Happy. Despite my laughter, I couldn't wait to hear the next release in his Dad series. I often found myself humming his songs and his words stayed with me. I would also find something I couldn't live without. Is this a cat? One day, on our way home, we came across a cute kitten crying by its lonesome. I couldn't bear to leave it there by itself, so I begged my parents to let me bring it back with us. Without hesitation, Dad started brainstorming ways to lure the kitten. Should we get some food as bait? How about foxtail grass? Maybe a cardboard box. Cats love boxes. Dad and I excitedly exchanged ideas, but after a few minutes, we realized Mom hadn't said a single word because she didn't want to have a cat. Ooh, is this a steamer? Is this a plush? We're steam cleaning a plush. See, this is next level stuff right here. Did the mom get her a plush cat so she didn't have to get her a real cat?
Perhaps.
This is like the perfect steam cleaner for a plush, too. I might be able to clean this without using hints. Might. Here we go. I don't think we're ready to own a cat. We don't know how to properly care for one, and we don't have any cat food or supplies. How can we care for it if we can't fulfill its needs?
He's out of line, but he's right.
I was so upset after we returned home. I slammed my door shut and refused to leave my room. That evening, Dad came over and gave me a stuffed animal. It was soft, fluffy, and looked like a kitten from before. The kitten from before. Mom bought you this, but she didn't know how to give it to you, which means the dad actually bought it. A few days later, I saw the same kitten at the same spot. This time, it was with another cat with a matching coat, its mother. Mom was right. If we had taken the kitten home, I couldn't help but feel ashamed. My hometown was always too warm for snow. If any snow did happen to fall, it would melt as soon as it touched the ground. Things like snowball fights and snowmen only existed in TV shows and fiction. Some of my childhood wishes included leaving footprints in fresh white snow, making snow angels, and building a huge snowman. When we finally had time for a family trip, I begged to go somewhere with an abundance of snow. And that's how we ended up having a snowy vacation. Thanks to that, I got to check a lot of things off on my bucket list. Ooh, I can hear something inside. Where could dirt be? Like on the underside of the label? Oh, it was right there. It just blends in so well. Dad, the snow crunches when you step on it. And when you lie down, it's so soft and fluffy. Really? Then I want to lie down too. Oh, you're right, Adora. It's really soft. I saw on TV that if you wave your arms and legs like this, you can make a huge snow angel. Then how about we make some big snow angels to watch over our family? Okay. Marshmallows are ready, you two. Better eat first or you won't have enough energy to play. What I dreamed of. I'd hoped to find the attic key in the living room, but it didn't turn up. I decided to search my room next. It looked exactly as it did on the day I left home. Only the thick layer of dust on everything indicated any passage of time. My focus was drawn on my desk where my dad's pocket watch lay. There used to be a time when its cogs still turned and its soft ticking could still be heard. When Mom gave Dad this pocket watch, Dad was delighted with the engraving design, a lily, just like Mom's name. Wherever Dad went, so too did the pocket watch. Shortly after I started high school, the pocket watch fell silent for good. Huh? Dad, how are you doing? Are you still cracking jokes over there? I don't think I'm doing that well. I really like the pixelation. It gives me a clear indicator of what's been cleaned and what hasn't. I remember when my mom this is a long time ago, when she would have to like go to a jeweler to get her like watch adjusted to fit her wrist properly. Adora, how many times have I told you not to call the office directly? You're usually back by now and I couldn't get in touch with you. Oh, I'm sorry. I got caught up in work and I completely lost track of time. I'll make sure to check my phone more often from now on. But please text instead of call. Alright, oh, yeah, Mom, I was cleaning up my room earlier and I found the cassette player Dad gave me. I'm sorry, Adora, but I still have a lot of work to do because I'm a busy mom. Don't wait for me and make sure you don't go to bed too late. Mom, wait, I desperately needed Mom, but she threw herself into work as if she wanted to forget Dad, and maybe all of us. Days passed, and we barely spoke or even saw each other. I kept telling myself that I had to try to understand her, that she was raising me all by herself now, but my grief and sorrow grew nearly unbearable as they rendered my nights sleepless. Things would have been much easier if I had just blamed her. Yet whenever I saw Mom so exhausted and fatigued, sadness came before anger. I hated her for leaving me alone, but at the same time, it pained me to see her eroding away. As much as I longed for her comfort, I wanted to comfort her too. What I found in the darkness. What is this? When I couldn't stand the silence in the house, I would listen to Dad's tapes. Listening to those songs made me feel like he was right there beside me. One day I heard a composer tell his story on a radio. When I was a kid, my father used to hum songs he had wrote himself, so I became interested in music. I hardly saw him after my parents divorced, but whenever I sang his songs, I felt like I was back in those happy childhood days. That's how I started composing. For me, it's a way of bringing comfort to not only me, but to others in similar circumstances. I could see myself in his story, and his song resonated with me. Naturally, I admired him. Finally, I understood what Dad meant. I wanted to tell him that I found something I couldn't live without doing. I found part-time jobs and started saving money for composing tools. When Mom asked about it, I thought she was finally taking some interest in my life. There's dirt hidden behind the knob. Mom, you're late again. You must be exhausted. Yes, a little. How was your day? Adora? What are all those things? Oh, these? A MIDI controller, a microphone. They're all tools for composing. By composing, do you mean composing music? Uh-huh. I started making songs little by little. And I got a part-time job to buy these tools myself.
You what?
Wait, Adora, a part-time job? You started working just for a hobby? Girl, we all work so we can be doing our hobbies, let's be real.
And that's a fact.
Adora, you need to be studying hard for your future tests. Right now. Don't waste your time on things like that and quit your part-time job too. Are you still doing music now? I wanted to tell her it wasn't just a hobby, that I was serious. But before I could say anything, Mom said she was tired and headed towards her room. My words were met with the sound of her door closing shut. I was left alone in an all too familiar silence. I was angry at Mom for not listening to my words, but I kept trying to understand her. I thought she might change her mind if I showed her how serious I was. Much like how music had comforted me, I wanted Mom to feel comforted too, and if possible, with a song of my own creation. So I started lo-fi streaming. After that day, I spent every spare moment composing. Not only was it my first song, but it was a song for Mom. When I felt I had poured enough of my heart into it, I recorded my song onto a cassette tape. I fervently hoped that it would bring her some comfort, even if I couldn't convince her. If I could at least help her feel a little bit better. When Mom came back, exhausted as usual, I nervously handed her the tape. I thought if Mom listened to it, she would understand how serious I was. I guess she didn't. What are all these flowers growing on this? They're pretty. Is there some symbolism with the flowers, like overgrowing all these objects? Since the mom's name is Lily. It seems like if I drag the brush, like slowly, it gets the grime off, like a lot better. There we go. You composed this yourself? Yeah, the melody came to me first, so I started with that. I'm still working on the lyrics. Oh, and there's another one I'm preparing for a competition. The theme is... Hold up, Adora. Didn't I tell you last time you need to focus on your studies and not have any hobbies? Mom, I know. I know it might seem like only like a hobby right now, but hobbies are the passion of life. Don't you know this? But please, can you at least try to listen? Adora, do you even hear what you're saying? How can you waste your time on this instead of studying? It's healthy to have hobbies. You know, you can have hobbies and have a job. You can have hobbies and study. You know. I'm tired, so let's talk another time. Another time? When's that gonna be? When you quit your job? As if that'll happen. Adora, I'm saying this for your own sake. I'm serious about becoming a composer. I want to make it so you don't have to worry about money anymore. And people say I'm pretty talented, so, and then the mom doubles down, right? Adora, I said no. Don't you even think about it. Right now, you may feel like you're special. Talented. There is no word more meaningless. Ugh. Don't get carried away because of a mere compliment. Praise proves absolutely nothing.
Jesus Christ.
Why was she so angry? Was she more tired than usual? Even now, I didn't know why Mom reacted so explosively. Maybe because we stood up against her authority. I never expected her to yell at me like that. Her fury left me speechless. While I was stunned, she tore the tape from my hands and threw it into the trash. Without so much as a backwards glance, she said, "Stop wasting your time on worthless things like this." What she threw away wasn't only a cassette tape. Therein was the piece of my heart that held my drive to comfort Mom despite the loneliness after Dad's passing. Even if hating her was the easier path, I didn't give up trying to understand her. But at that moment, my heart was equated to trash. I felt something disappear from inside me. After Mom's rage quelled and silence fell once again, I finally gave up trying to understand her. Ooh. The music box was the last present I ever received from Dad. What's going on with Dad? Did they have a divorce? Did he die? Dad, if you were still here, you would have supported me, right? Mom doesn't understand what it's like to have a dream. To have something you can't live without. All she wants to do is fit into the mold. That's probably the only kind of life she knows. I cried for a long time, pouring out my anguish. Listening to the music box play, it felt like Dad was sitting right next to me. After that day, I stopped waiting for Mom. I didn't even want her to talk to me anymore. I had nothing to say to her. I figured she would have at least been proud of the part-time job thing. When I was a teenager, I couldn't even get a part-time job at Mickey D's. They wanted experience, and now they just be a person with a pulse and a clean record, probably. There we go. Adora, can we talk for a minute?
Hell no!
I'm sorry for how I acted. I must have been so tired I got emotional. But it was for your sake, Adora. I don't want you to suffer. Right now, things may seem fun and exciting, so you might think that the road ahead will be easy. Someday, you'll understand. Okay? That doesn't mean you have to be so dang harsh. For now, it would be better if you focused on your studies and kept composing as a hobby. Now I get why you're saying these things. You've never had anything you've truly wanted to do, have you? All you've ever done is live by other people's standards. That's why you don't understand how serious I am. and what it's like to have something you can't live without. If Dad were here, he would have understood me. At least he wouldn't have thrown away my tape like that. He wasn't anything like you.
Damn!
Mom said nothing during my verbal onslaught. Her silence has only fueled my rage, so my words became harsher, crueler, more vicious. Mom quietly took my wrath. After the room fell silent, she left without a single word. Left alone, I picked up the music box and said to myself, "It's okay. That was nothing compared to what she did to me." It was a peaceful weekend afternoon. I had started to doze off after putting stickers all over Dad's camera. We gonna get some peeling ASMR? In my half-awake state, I could faintly make out Mom and Dad's voices as they quietly talked. I wanted to keep listening to their conversation, but before long I fell asleep. There's like some mushrooms growing out of this. Dad used to take pictures of me and Mom whenever he could. It looks like it still might work if I charge it. So like when the mom and the daughter lived together, the father had divorced the mom. So I can understand why maybe she doesn't want her kid to follow along in her footsteps, because like I don't know if the dad's supporting them or not. Okay, do I need to scrub the mushrooms off? Yeah. But the mom, I don't know, she looks up to her father, who she didn't really have any contact with after. This is an amazing cleaning technology. I wish I had something like this for my figures. There we go. Adora, did you finish your homework? Shh. She fell asleep after playing with the camera again. Haha. She really does love it. She's interested in so many things, like music and writing. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh? I only hope she doesn't become like me. You still have regrets about back then? You know, I thought you were so beautifully radiant. What? She still is. It's all in the past now. I was naive and foolish, chasing what was only a dream. Now I'm awake and live in reality. Let's not talk about this anymore, alright? Alright. The camera contained a recording I had never seen before. I had pressed the record... pressed the record button while I was asleep? The slanted video captured a long conversation between Mom and Dad. That makes it so ironic because, like, she was putting her down about her dreams and all this other stuff, and you have to live in reality, and I don't know. I think it's important to have, like, passion and employment balance. Like, you can go work your job and do this thing to make the money, and then you come home to your real passion, whatever it is. I found it difficult to understand. The mom I knew had always seemed so ordinary. Suddenly I realized that perhaps the words I had so aggressively thrown at her that day meant more than I had thought. That moment kept playing over and over in my mind. How silently she stood before my anger. How silently she had left the room, followed only by the sound of the door closing. Uh-oh. What is this? Oh, it looks like maybe a writing award? Only Mom's room was left. Holding the doorknob, I felt as if I were about to meet Mom herself after all this time. Her room was filled with boxes, some all neatly labeled and sorted by purpose. Somehow it seemed like she knew she wouldn't be coming back. One box in particular caught my attention. Things I couldn't throw away. This box contained many trophies I had never seen before. Hey, it's not easy to break out there in the creative field. This looks exactly like the symbol I saw in the teacup. I don't want to say this is a quill since it looks was like her favorite manufacturer. But I've been enjoying this ASMR game. I've also been playing a lot of Power Wash Simulator 2. I've been recording like all of the footage. I might do something with it, I'm not sure. I love the game, but it's not easy for me to like play it by myself. Ooh, wow. A quill pen made of glass with a little journal with a pen inside. Something that I really love about Power Wash Simulator 2 is it's not like how in the first game, like you have to, when you get close to finishing cleaning the thing, like you have to go pixel hunting. It's a lot more forgiving in that regard, which is nice. Like where's that one tiny itty bitty pixel of filth? I think with a game like this, pixel hunting makes a lot more sense. Like kudos to the person who did all these 3D models. I love this. Here we go. Where that dream resides now. Dad, what's that? A trophy? Yep, I got this for winning first place in a math competition. This is not for math. This was the box that Dad had mentioned. I took out a few trophies and read their plates. School writing competition winner, Youth Short Story Competition Excellence Award, Novel Contest First Place, all for Lily Meyer. These accolades demonstrate how much she had achieved, and there is proof of the dream Mom once had. She was talented enough to win all of these awards. Why didn't she pursue writing as a career? It was tough to break out into writing back then. Nowadays, you can self-publish. You don't need a publisher. Ooh, a typewriter? Ooh. Things were never the same after Mom threw away my cassette tape. I couldn't pretend that nothing had happened. This animosity persisted after high school. As I left home to study music at a distant university, I told myself I wouldn't call her until I had succeeded. Back then, I believed that once I graduated university, success would easily find its way to me. But it didn't. However, just as Mom had warned, the world was much colder than I had thought. Awards and words of praise became more and more meaningless. That doesn't mean you have to give up on the things you're passionate about. You gotta have something to make the bacon, and then another way to keep the bacon flavored, so to speak. As well as sometimes you have to use your creative skills to do things that you normally don't feel like doing, like making music for like a commercial or something. The more I avoided calling Mom, I could already hear what she'd say. That's why I told you to stop. I told you it'd be a waste of time. I wasn't ready to hear those words to my face. Even after I had to change my phone number, I couldn't bring myself to call her. After some time, I received an unexpected call from my aunt. My mom had passed away. I thought I'd be able to call her anytime I wanted, but I didn't have the courage to. That would mean I'd have to admit that she was right all along. Listen, pride is a foolish thing to chase after. But when people will be like, I told you so. I mean, did you really have to say that?
Yes.
I guess maybe in some cases. Like, I told you not to pour all of your money into lol coin. Yeah, so? Are you leaving? If I don't go now, I'll be late for my flight. You have a lot of luggage. I'll drive you to the airport. It's fine. I know you're busy. I'll be going now. Adora. They let their pride get in the way. It seems that Mom typed her stories on it.
Right.
How would she do that? It doesn't even have the full QWERTY set of buttons. Come to think of it, that was the last conversation we ever had. I left without looking back, determined to return only when I succeeded. I wanted to prove Mom wrong. Pog online poggers. I wanted to prove Mom wrong. But that door I shut so firmly never opened again. I opened the small drawer at the bottom of the typewriter. Inside there were sheets of paper and the attic key. Most of the papers were stories that Mom had written. The rest seemed to be contracts. Among the papers were a few letters that began with the salutation, Dear Miss Lily Mayer. Hold on. Dear Miss Lily Mayer. I picked up a letter that was filled with writing. It's been some time since I last penned a letter to you. I recall in your previous letters that you have been a fan of mine for some time now. I want to let you know that I read the story you sent this time as well. Please understand that I say this for your sake. I have read your works for a long time now. And they lack any aspect of exceptionality. What? Certainly, you could make a livelihood out of your writing, but I doubt that standard alone would be satisfactory for you. What? Did the mom pass on the trauma? This is something she said similarly to her. I understand your desire to be a writer. However, discretion is something that sometimes the better part of valor. What absolute BS. I believe that your time would be better spent in another field of work. I truly apologize for conveying these words much too late. Sincerely, Lewis. My name is Lewis. Lewis was the name of Mom's favorite writer. The writer she admired. The one who might have even inspired her to pursue writing. I couldn't begin to imagine how it'd feel if someone I respected told me to give up, like how her mom told her to give up. I imagine Mom opening the letter, hoping to find praise or encouragement, but the further she read, the greater the despair on her face. If a composer I admired had said the same to me, I wouldn't have been able to take it either. Hey kid, your drawings suck, therefore you should give up on drawing entirely. I know it's probably a niche thing. I liked watching those old game shows where people, like back in like between the 80s and the between the 80s and the 90s, where people would have like these game shows themed in grocery stores. I loved those. And like the Temple of the Something off the Nickelodeon. Yeah, the Legends of the Hidden Temple. I loved watching that when I was a kid. Like, the only time I think I'd ever want to have like a landline phone would be like for business purposes. Listen, I'm not a business-minded tuber. I'm trying my hardest to grow right now. Like, my traveling is like lit a fire in my heart, and I want to try even harder now. A Double Dare? I know there was another one. I can't remember what Double Dare was about. I like to watch a lot of the game show things on Nickelodeon. Like, I like the one where it was like the families and they go through these like goopy obstacle courses. It's so hard to remember the names of them. I was very, very young at the time. Like, I'm sure some of you have heard of like the behind the scenes like interviews and stuff like that I'm like, I had no idea that stuff was going on when I was enjoying watching shows like all that. Them kids need to be protected at all costs. All costs. I don't know. I don't care what you have to do. There we go. I think I'll be admitted to the hospital soon. Could you help me tidy up the house? Please. I don't have anyone else I can ask to do this. Lily, don't say that. I still have the spare key, so I'll go by when I have time. Thank you, before you come. I'll put away things like the trophies. It's strange, isn't it, back then? I was so desperate to forget everything. But when I was cleaning the house, I saw my typewriter and all those trophies. I remembered the days when I wrote so happily. Why do we only realize how precious something is after we lose it? Writing and Adora. Lily, have you called Adora? I tried calling her 2 days ago, but she didn't answer. Maybe she changed her number. I left a voicemail, but I'm not sure if she heard it. If I were brave enough to call her sooner, would we still be in touch right now? Back then, I thought the best thing to do was give her time. From her voice and coughing, I could hear how difficult it was for Mom to talk. Ooh, it's a fun game, but it can be really hard. It's fun. After I left home, my pride and drive to prove myself held me back from contacting Mom. All this time, I never once thought about how Mom must have felt. I didn't think that she would regret what she had done, nor did I know that she had called me. If I had just called her when I changed my number. Nevertheless, did we inherit the house or something? As I looked at the old attic key that I found in Mom's typewriter, it reminded me of the excuse that brought me back home, finding my aunt's necklace. Maybe she knew everything and sent me here on purpose. I held the rusted key in my hand. It felt cold and hard and somehow also warm. As I cleaned the key, Mom and Auntie's conversation continued. Oh, there was more? I felt like I was looking at myself. When Adora said that someone had called her talented, she was just like my young, naive self, and so I crushed her dreams because someone also crushed my dreams, thereby passing on generational trauma.
Damn!
A dick move thing to do. It was too painful to see her talking with those bright eyes full of hope, so I just crushed her hope. And I didn't say I was sorry for it. Surprisingly, I don't think there's a game about cleaning rugs. Because I know like rug cleaning videos were popular. I'm sure they're still popular. I'd see them on TikTok all the time, but their popularity died down. Crunchy. The recording ended with a violent cough from Mom. I was left stunned, my heart painfully heavy. After some time, I collected myself and headed to the attic with key in tow. The attic had always been Mom's private space. When I snuck in as a child, it looked more like a storage room than somewhere fun. So I often wondered why Mom liked using it. Oh, it was peaceful. There's a big round window here that lets in natural light. Lily, as if to answer that question from my childhood, I found an old desk and chair in one corner of the room. On it displayed a necklace with a dusty journal with an all-too-familiar name. If I never came back to this house and cleaned it, if I had let those mementos undisturbed beneath dust, I would have never learned about Mom's true feelings. I had a feeling that this diary had been waiting here all this time, just for me. I carefully brushed away the thick layer of dust and opened it. I shouldn't be making that joke right now. That day, when Adora handed me her tape, with such excitement, I destroyed her dreams. On her face, I could see the hope in her eyes. That innocent face. Certainly she could realize her dream. I knew that face well. I was afraid that she would curse her wasted years and regret everything. I need to stop this now, and I chose not to let her down easy. For her sake, I chose to be harsh. I believed that her hating me was what?
Hey yo, what the fuck?
When I started to tidy up Adora's belongings, I was able to see the remnants of her dreams in my hands. Through them, I could feel her sorrows and joys. And that was when I looked back on my past, my younger self, who I had thought naive and foolish, was shining as brilliantly as those traces of Adora. I wanted to tell her, my true feelings. But I can't reach her anymore. All I can do is wait. I hope you return one day, so I can tell you this. Adora, it was thanks to you that I was able to face myself again. Even though I was ashamed of my past, I was happy to see a part of myself in you. I had hurt you so gravely, yet you brought me comfort. I should have said this to you sooner. No matter what path you choose to walk, no matter how you live your life, I will always love and support you. There is also something I thought I'd never see again. The cassette tape that I recorded my first song on. I put the tape into the cassette player and opened the envelope. The letter inside contained lyrics which seemed to accompany my song. I slowly recited Mom's lyrics. My novice melody and her poetic verses complemented each other well, as if they have always been together from the very start. What would you do to see those lost birds once again? Looking above, your eyes danced with the dawning sky, gleaming with hope that they were clear as crystal. Was it me who dusted everything? Bright in my dream, you're singing to the moon and stars, even lighting up my room behind you. But that's not the end, right? Oh, I guess it is. You walk through the mess wide. Well, thank you for making this game. I love this. This was so good. This was a massive breath of fresh air. Oh. Yeah, I would highly suggest this one, Undusted. Letters from the Past. It's $10 on Steam. It's probably discounted right now. I wonder, can I pick my objects? Wait, there's more? Oh, this must have been the moms. She took a picture of them when they were playing with the ocarina. Oh. Here we go. The pendant Mom always wore. It's the first time I've looked inside. And the picture is of her happily taking part in her lifelong passion, which is music.